What is trust? It's a simple question, but when we start to think about it, there's no simple answer. We use trust on a daily basis as we come to various decisions, mostly without even noticing it. Trust can be a gut feeling or something we've learned. For example, I have 3 kids, a wife and 3 kids, and a cat. And with the kids, there's always something going on. Mine, they are all into sports, football, volleyball, gymnastics. And it's amazing how no week goes by without them hurting something. And, well, usually we are fine with just the rest and a sauna. But once in a while, we do need something more. And that's when we go to see the doctor. We do that because we've learned to trust their skills, the expertise, the information they possess. But if we would be living in different times, though, the experience might be a bit different. Instead of standard cough medicine, my kids might be treated with tobacco. For us, today, it all sounds ridiculous. But back then, that was the reality. Now, luckily, the doctors, they have evolved. At least the understanding, the information has. And with that, our trust towards these well-respected professionals has evolved as well. And this is critical for us to grasp. You see, the trust model we create is not static. It evolves, and it evolves together with our understanding. Now, it can take some time. Tobacco came to Europe in the beginning of 1500. It was still used for medical purposes in the 20th century. And even though we know the risks, it is still being consumed. This is how we roll. We live and we learn. Slowly, but we do learn. In the beginning of 1990s, our world changed. That was when the World Wide Web was born. The internet did exist already, but it was the World Wide Web with the help of the internet that created something new, the digital domain. In a mere 25 years, it has changed our lives beyond our imagination, and it continues to do so with an ever-increasing pace. We can be connected instantly. News, social media updates, anything available in a blink of an eye. Today, there are more than 4 billion users in the internet. We consume the data, use various applications the internet provides. But we are not just consumers, we are also producers, because we produce the data. We do that through social media, loyalty cards, information such as names, addresses, pictures, our purchasing history. And we allow providers to access that data through agreeing with the terms and conditions of the service. On the screen, that picture, those are actual printouts of terms and conditions of different services, social media services. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all there. And there's a whole lot of text in those. All we do is scroll to the end and tick the box. I've done the same. And it's a bit like going back to the good old days when we placed an X as our signature. Now, back then, it was more about whether we knew how to read or write. Whereas today, well, it's more about if we understand the implications of what we are agreeing to. Or we just don't care. Both equally worrying, but lack of understanding, it might be easier to fix. With the traditional medium, I think we tend to be more cautious, at least what comes to personal risk-taking. Now, imagine that you are being approached by someone on the street, someone you don't know, asking personal questions about your family, where do you live, your travel plans, where and when do you go, maybe ask you to send some pictures from your travels. Would you share that with the stranger? I wouldn't, and I bet that majority of you wouldn't either. And yet, there I am, sharing all that openly in the internet. Picture of me and my wife, mesmerized by the northern lights. Tagging her to the picture, of course. Thumbs up to my local ice hockey team, if they play well. Reposting cat videos and taking those personality tests, the ones we have in Facebook. So, as said, I've ticked the box. The information we share online can be used to influence us, to get us by stuff that we don't need, or, for example, in the elections. Something we've learned with the Facebook and Cambridge Analytica in 2016 elections, where the information from the social media was used when creating profiles of potential voters, and also for creating models for how to influence them. Now, Cambridge Analytica had information from millions of users. That means millions of profiles, millions of voters, and countless ways to influence them. With this kind of information, it would be possible to create targeted campaigns with customized messages, maybe to add some fake news, fake information. With modern-day technology, it would be possible to modify the videos even. For example, the recording of this talk of mine could be different for each and every one of you. It could be modified to include messages, keywords, that gains your attention in best possible way. And most likely, you could not even spot the difference between the fake one and the real. The European Union uses a measurement called Digital Economy and Society Index. The latest index ranks Finland as #1 amongst all the states in the EU. Our score is 69.9 out of 100. It's an excellent figure, but what does that mean in practice? The index itself has multiple different dimensions, all being measured and then combined for the final results. But there's one index, or one dimension actually, that interests me the most in this context, because it holds the framework and the measurements for digital skills. It's called the human capital. There are 5 domains in the framework: information, communication, content creation, problem solving, and safety. Each having certain attributes that are being used when measuring the skills, like can you send or receive an email? Can you seek health-related information? Can you modify and create Word documents? Basic stuff, but important stuff, because we need to have the baseline. What worries me the most in this context is the fact that safety domain is not measured in the index. We have that in the framework, but we don't quite know how to actually measure it. The fact that we don't do that emphasizes me that safety in the digital domain can be quite complex. We have threats that are perhaps more easier to understand, such as fraud or theft. How can we quantify the role of manipulation, fake news? How can we react to grooming? In order to address these more complex aspects of the safety, we must build our awareness, and through awareness, our understanding. Now, we may think that time will take care of this lack of understanding, that the next generation, the digital natives, they will somehow know how to use the domain, how it works. I don't buy that. You see, learning to use a service or device is not the same as knowing how it works. As Yoda says, Understand we must. I'm not sure he actually said that, but he should have, because we all should have the basic skill to understand the how. How does this service work? How is my information being used? We don't have to be full-blown Jedi masters of the cyberspace, but we need to have enough understanding to be safe when using the internet-based services. Once we have this foundation in place, we must then figure out how we can add the skill to our basic skill set. But how we can do that? Well, frankly, that's quite simple, and it's through education. I mean, many things can be solved with the education, but how? The modern-day education system has been evolving since the Industrial Revolution. It has been evolving together with our understanding. And through that, the education has become a bedrock of the sustainable evolution of the societies. The digital domain, along with digital skills, is definitely a part of the evolution of the society. But this domain is different because it's more abstract. You can't really hold it in your hand. It's maybe difficult to understand. The right way for how to add these skills would not be to offer a set of courses called digital skills. Because if we define these skills to be separate from the others we need in life, we are actually not taking care of the fact that digital domain is part of our lives. And it's not going anywhere. It remains. The right way, well, that requires some rethinking in our education methods. We need to understand how we can reach different ages, different social classes, even different cultures. For example, kids like to play games. At least mine do. And they use their mobile devices always and everywhere. So why don't we use gaming for them? Let them play in a classroom. The thing we deny them at home, let's use that in the school. Quite recently, in Finland, there was a new mobile game launched. It's a free educational game for kids in the elementary school. Non-profit, publicly funded, together with the industry. The game tries to build the awareness and the understanding for the kids so that they can learn how to be safe when they are online for different situations. But the game and the collaboration team created something else as well. They created material for teachers and the parents, to school and to home. So, in a way, and not just in a way because it did that, it created collaboration that can reach different target groups. And this is important. The innovation created additional collaboration. And that's the key. Online safety is gaining more attention in different countries, not just in Finland. The Department of Education in UK just published a guidance document for how to teach online safety. Both of these examples, the online game and mobile game and those instructions, those are excellent steps towards better awareness, better future, and we need these. We need more of these. We need more of these innovations and more of collaboration. With tobacco, it took us almost 500 years to gain our understanding and then to act on our knowledge. With digital trust, we don't have 500 years. We need to speed up and find those new innovations for the awareness. If we act now, there is still a chance that we can take back the control of our lives. Thank you.